What's up, everyone? Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by me, Adam, and Cozy, the three caballeros. That's right, we're three colorful birds from that weird animated, was that a Disney movie? I don't know. But it was also a Steve Martin live-action movie, I think. Who knows? Who cares? Because we're here to talk about video games. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Michael. I've watched plenty of Steve Martin movies. Innes, we've got here our co-host, Adam. How many Steve Martin movies can you name right now in 10 seconds? Gumbert.
Steve Martin, cheaper by the dozen, cheapest by the dozen. He was the Pink Panther. That's what I can tell you, you know? Steve Martin bird movie. What the fuck is this?
I think it was called The Three Caballeros.
Pull up the big year, Chad. I think you're incorrect.
It's a 1944 animated film by Walt Disney. I'm surprised I knew what that was.
Steve Martin's still alive back then?
No. Three Amigos is what I was thinking of, a Steve Martin.
Three Amigos. I got you.
That was Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase. Okay. We've got here our other co-host, Alex. Tell me how many Steve Martin movies you can name in 10 seconds, Cosina.
I couldn't possibly name any of them in 10 seconds, unfortunately. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All-American Super Bowl halftime show presented by three people, one of which is from Canada, which doesn't actually make it All-American. It's a little bit of a misnomer in that regard. Adam, I've been looking at your video feed for the past couple of minutes, and I have been trying so desperately to figure out what video game is being played behind you, and I cannot figure it out.
We literally said this. We literally talked about
this. I was most definitely not paying attention then, because I don't know what's being played.
It's Arc Raiders, baby. Arc Raiders.
Is it
Looks
really?
Like he's in the buried city right now.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you for actually answering my question.
We talked about it in a full conversation.
Yeah, remember? And then Joel and I were like, ask your son what rank he is.
I was really distracted.
Adam asked him, and then he was in the middle of a raid, so he couldn't tell. Like, no one knew. And then you have to wait till he gets back to Speranza. And then we found out he's been playing for 2 days, and he probably doesn't even have trials yet, so he doesn't even have a rank. We went through that whole conversation. Joel even says it in the chat, Cozy, we talked about this. Actually says Corey, we talked about it. And then he says Cozy. And then he has an asterisk beside Cozy, which I assume means Sparkles. I don't know. You can catch us on Monday evenings, usually around 8:30 Eastern time, and you can catch us live on twitch.tv/respawnaimfire, or you can catch us on demand a couple days later on Wednesday mornings on on podcasts and YouTube. We've got a couple of things to talk to. We're going to do a little bit of a shorter show. Well, I say that, but every time we say that, it ends up going a normal and or a longer amount than normal. So we're going to do a show today that is a length of time, and it's going to be related to a couple of big showcases. One of them what's past, one of them's coming in the future, and this is one that's happening in the present. Ghost of Christmas. So let's jump in and start. But before we do,
real quick,
we have homework. I mean, we have patreon.com/respawnaimfire where
you
can go and
homework.
become a patron. For your Patreon homework, if you choose to pay us to do extra work, your homework is to go and vote for Barf Games, which you can't currently do, but you will be able to do in a few weeks because you've already voted on one that we're playing for January and February, and that game is Returnal, the Housemarque game that came out on PS5 before they were bought by Sony. And then this game was so good, Sony said, let's buy you. And so play that. We're going to talk about that at the end of the month. If you would like to talk about that with us, come on down. Be a little Bob Barker special guest. Come on down. We'll let you spin the wheel. We'll talk. We'll have a good time. And then you also get access to Rafter Dark, which is it's not always Rafter Dark. It has been Rafter Dark for about a year. But our special Patreon early access exclusive episode, which comes once a month, which will be filmed and or recorded in the next week or so. You'll have that will be up soon.
We've been trying to get it together. We haven't forgotten about it, but circumstances and schedules keep shifting, so we've not been able to nail down a firm date to do it, but we're going to get around
Circumcisions
to it.
Keep shifting, and you know how that goes. Like, you get one shot at that, and if it shifts around, you want to make sure you wait until it settles before you make the snip, because that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. So we're playing it safe. We're going to make sure that when we do it, it's good. That's coming. And then also, if you are not a patron, you for free have access to last month's Rafter Dark, which is all about sexy something, right? Sexualized something.
It was us talking about the Harry Potter universe's kinky side, and
Harry
then that
Potter's
led
kinky
into
side.
a discussion about our wildest celebrity encounters, and we talked a lot about the Canadian Football League.
That's exactly right. And you have one more special extra thing that everyone has access to. Cozy, what is it?
Yes, as you all know, for the past year or so, I've been doing community management work for This Thing Rules, the podcast run by Brian Altano and Max Scoville. That's almost sort of like a pseudo spiritual successor to their work on the Comedy Button, but a little bit more uplifting and positivity themed. This past week, I finally got to do a proper episode with the two of them. I appeared on This Thing Rules to talk about carrot cake. We spent a whole episode trying to convince Brian Altano, who's a dirty, dirty man and does not believe in the majesty of carrot cake. We tried our best to try and bring him over to our side. And I feel like I argued very passionately and cogently. We were all very pleased with the episode. I will say right up front, don't tweet at me or skeet at me about this because I already know about it. I do breathe very heavily into the mic on this particular episode because the filters on my microphone weren't properly applied when we did our recording of said episode. I think the actual content of the episode is of a very high level of quality, and I think you will thoroughly enjoy it. But if you hear me breathing, just imagine it doesn't exist. Just imagine you're hearing the rustling wind of the world going into your earbuds as you listen to that particular episode. So yeah, This Thing Rules, wherever podcast services are found. Listen to the latest episode about carrot cake that I appeared on alongside Brian Altano and Max Scoville.
I haven't heard the episode, but I'm already convinced carrot cake is great, y'all. Put some cream cheese icing on that shit. Hell yeah.
Adam, what do you think about carrot cake?
Yeah, it's all right. It's not my favorite, but
sure.
I don't dislike it.
Okay,
the cream cheese
good.
frosting really is the thing that ties it together. So.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, thinking about things that tie it together, we're going to talk about what threads might tie together this whole PlayStation State of Play, which is part of our main quest. Oh, Joel can't eat. Joel, why can't you eat carrot cake? Does it have nuts in it? Walnuts.
Too many vegetables.
It has almonds.
Almonds?
Yeah.
They don't put almonds in carrot cake.
Some people do.
They
Some
don't put
people put
almonds.
raisins
They do
in
put
their
almonds,
other shit
though,
too.
sometimes.
You need to eat some nut-free carrot cake. That's good stuff.
Joel, I'll just give you a tub of cream cheese icing. Actually, that's a lie. If there's a tub of cream cheese icing, I'm keeping it, and I'm gonna dip dick in that shit, and you'll never see it again. But for now, you will see on Thursday a Sony State of Play, and that's our subject of our main quest right now. Sony announces PlayStation State of Play broadcast for this week, Thursday. Thank the Lord, 5 p.m. Pacific time instead of all this fucking Nintendo bullshit that happens at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So here's a brief blurb. PlayStation will stream a major State of Play broadcast this week featuring over an hour of news and reveals, including the latest updates from its own teams within PlayStation Studios. Oh, boys, this is a biggin'. Over an hour of content. Cozy has prepared a little bit of a prediction segment for us. So, Cozy, I'm going to turn it over to you for this.
Yes, so we're going to keep things very simple. I want us to all go around the room, and we're each going to give one first-party related prediction about the State of Play, something related to some sort of first-party piece of software that Sony is going to be releasing at some point in the near future. One prediction about a third-party game that will be showcased or talked about in some fashion at the State of Play. And then one prediction about some sort of hardware or physical toy or some sort of non-game, anything that is not a video game that you think will be showcased or shown off at the State of Play.
Oh my God.
And then after that,
hold on.
Yes.
This is a matter of life and death. Joel, did you eat, did Dallas send you cookies for the final shape? Those Destiny cookies? Like 2 summers ago when the final shape came out? Did you eat those cookies? Because those are almond cookies, aren't they? Are you okay? Did you survive? Oh my God. Joel says he did. Explain how you're alive right now. We've been talking to a ghost. They were delicious as hell, but...
Joel is a ghost. He's a phantom. He's a spirit haunting the house.
He lived. Okay. Sorry, continue,
and then
Cozy.
After the non-game prediction, I'll just do a very quick segment called More is More, where I'll basically pit a couple of possibilities against each other with regards to what we'll be seeing in the State of Play, and we can predict which one we will see more of. But let's return back to the first one, first-party games that we're going to see at the State of Play. I assembled this, and so I will go ahead and take the lead and go first so that nobody can steal this, because I know that this will very likely probably be brought up many times by many podcasters in the lead up to this week's State of Play. I predict that at this State of Play, we will finally see the 2D Metroidvania-inspired God of War game. Now, here's the thing. Not a difficult prediction, a very easy prediction to make. I'm sure that plenty of people have already talked about this particular possibility. So this is where I'm going to go in deep and give you some extra details that I think will fully clinch my victory, that will make people ooh and ah after the fact and go, Cozy, you're such a PlayStation Nostradamus on this one. I think that this 2D Metroidvania-inspired God of War game will take place during the same time frame as Chains of Olympus, which, if you remember, was the PSP game set before the events of the original God of War. Within the timeline, it is after Kratos becomes the Ghost of Sparta, after he has the ashes of his family printed onto his skin and obtains the Blades of Chaos, but before he defeats Ares and becomes the titular God of War. And the game will specifically depict the events of the Trojan War. Now, why will it depict the events of the Trojan War? A couple reasons. Number one, the prior God of War games, the Greek era God of War games, have already mined a lot of famous events, a lot of famous characters from Greek mythology. But the Trojan War is one of those events that we have not yet seen in those games. And of course, the Trojan War, a very major event, very, major kind of piece of Greek mythology we've not yet seen in the franchise. The other thing is, in God of War Ragnarok, Kratos has a lot of conversations with Mimir about the past things that he experienced in the older God of War games. He talks a lot about Calliope, his daughter. He talks a lot about his brother, Deimos. He talks a lot about these various things that occurred in the games of old. And there is also a very brief conversation in Ragnarok in which he brings up the Trojan War. Mimir says something like, was that the war where there was a horse that was not a horse, or something like that, alluding to the giant wooden horse that was brought into that, city walls. And I thought at the time, very interesting that they would allude to the events of the Trojan War, even though we've not yet seen the Trojan War before in the God of War franchise. It's not unlike how in God of War 3, they alluded to Kratos sinking Atlantis, even though we had not yet seen Kratos sinking Atlantis in the franchise. And then a few months later, we got God of War Ghost of Sparta, the PSP game, that depicted him doing that exact event. And so I bet they're going to do the exact same thing here. We are finally going to see Kratos taking part in the Trojan War, fooling some people with a giant wooden horse. I think it's going to be a fantastic time.
Do you think, and maybe this gets into the third category of predictions where it's like non-game predictions, do you think there's a cross-promotional thing and Kratos from the live action series, who has been cast, shows up in the Odyssey, in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey this summer, released, also telling the story of the Trojan War? Huh?
What I like about that prediction is in this hypothetical scenario, that the actor playing Kratos has like the tattoos and like the ashes of his family's bodies on himself. And so like he never talks, he never like has a prominent role in Christopher Nolan's movie, but every single time you see him in the background, you're like, who the hell is that guy who's like 6 feet taller than everyone else and looks like he's covered in ashes? But the movie's like, no, we're never going to focus on him. He's not important.
Yep. Missed opportunity if they don't do it.
And that is my first party game prediction. Adam, I'm going to toss things over to you. What is your first party game prediction?
Let me go third, just in case I take Chad's.
All right. Chad, what's your prediction?
Here's mine. The research goes back to October. In October, Naughty Dog told their employees to start working mandatory overtime and coming into the office 5 days a week instead of their normal 3 days a week. And they said it would be temporary so that they could get a demo done for some Sony executives. They said, we'll go back to our normal 3 days a week in the office, 2 days a week from home in January. I think we're going to see the fruits of that crunch. I think we're going to see some kind of gameplay from Intergalactic with just like a brief overview of like, all right, here we are in the world of Intergalactic, and here's our main character, whatever the fuck their name is again, and this is some of the stuff that you'll be doing. I think we'll see some gameplay demo, probably not live demo, but just like here's some video of what gameplay of this game looks like with a 2027, just a vague 2027 release date, because Naughty Dog tends to release their games like the last year of the console, and traditionally it's a 7-year console cycle, which means 2027 next year would be the year Naughty Dog would release a game again. So yeah, I think we get a little bit of whatever they were crunching for. We get to see that in our state of play.
Okay. It's exciting. Do you have any predictions of specific weapons, any enemies, any aliens, any bad guys, any good guys?
No, I think it's
any cool people we're going to see.
Such like a off the wall concept that like I don't even think I could predict anything, except we'll see more old Sony tech, or just like Sony versions of tech like we did in the original one, just like make you feel nostalgic for that shit. We'll see that.
Very cool. Adam, I think you're up.
Yeah, I'm looking between a couple of them, and I'm like, what's the most interesting? What's the most no-brainer? So I'm just going to go with the first one. Obviously, it makes sense. Marathon's coming out March 5th. So I think we will get, I don't want to put an exact number on it, but it will get a major chunk of the show. So like, let's say, you know, like Wolverine ends the show and gets 5 minutes. Like Marathon will also get a 5-minute time slot. I don't know where, it doesn't matter, whatever. But we're going to get a deep dive into Marathon. They're going to be like, look, it is good. We took extra time. You guys should enjoy it now. And they're going to basically try to reintroduce that game right before it comes out to get people reinterested in it. So I think it will get a time slot that is the size of the other big time slots during the hour presentation to reintroduce Marathon, you know, like to push Marathon because it's coming out very soon. They need to get people hyped.
I don't know if this ends in like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know if it like ends in like a beta weekend or whatever, but they are like, please be excited for this video game, please, everyone. And they're going to try to really sell it here. So, I mean, I feel like that's a no-brainer, but I think the time slot thing is the thing that makes it a little more interesting.
I have a question about this prediction cycle. Is this part of the official ranked best gamer of the year activities?
Nah, Joel's not here.
Well, I was going to say, if it is, Joel has his predictions in chat.
Oh, did he put predictions in?
I predict we'll see a Bad Bunny 3D golf game.
I don't think he said that.
He actually did say that, and then he
here's
said
here's the question. I can confirm he did post that in the Twitch chat. Is that his first-party game prediction, or is that the third-party prediction?
He posted it while we were talking about first-party games, so I assume that's his first-party prediction, yeah.
So we will see a first-party Sony game that's a Bad Bunny 3D golf game.
Maybe it's a PlayStation Move integration as well.
It is worth pointing out, directly underneath that, Joel also posted Donktober, which I'm pretty sure is referring to the month of October, but specifically when it's Donkey Kong themed, when people are playing Donkey Kong games in that month, which is interesting.
That's his third-party prediction then. So he's going to say Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming to PlayStation.
It's interesting because, I mean, he's basically implying that within the span of the next few days, Nintendo will turn third-party and announce that they're putting Donkey Kong games on PlayStation. That's pretty bold, but I'll stick with it. Adam, do you allow it?
I think he's just typing nonsense in the chat because he's trying to poop. So I don't really know if we need to include that. If he wants to give real predictions and we make this part of the thing, that's fine. But I'm going to give him a chance to really do real predictions. So he can listen after us and give us what he thinks he's going to do.
Alrighty. And with that, I will move on to my third-party game prediction. Imagine, if you will, screen goes black. A trailer starts.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 60 frames per second.
No. It's the city of Zootopia from the movie Zootopia. Nick, Judy, and the snake from the second movie that was played by Kihei Kwan are bopping around, doing their thing, catching criminals, being good guys. Suddenly, monsters start appearing out of everywhere. Whoa, what the fuck are these things? They're odd and shadowy and covered in some sort of weird miasma. Whenever it is that they strike and kill their other fellow animals, they burst into these weird heart-like objects. And then all of a sudden, see him running out of nowhere, coming into frame. It's Sora, but because this is the world of Zootopia, it's specifically animal furry Sora. He sort of looks like his lion form from Kingdom Hearts 2, but now he's on his 2 hind legs, walking around, swinging his Keyblade, doing all sorts of cool stuff. From there, the trailer transitions into an esoteric segment in which the Masters of Masters and Yozora babble some nonsense about the heart and about the nature of unrealities and world lines and all the other stuff that they have established over the course of the past couple of years. And the trailer ends with some awkwardly written message like Zootopia is coming in Kingdom Hearts, followed by the words magic in the making instead of a proper release date. And I'm just going to insert this in here as well. You can grade me on this, whether it proves to be correct or incorrect. I'm going to predict that Kingdom Hearts is still probably only coming out in 2030.
Update. We do have a proper prediction from Joel in the chat. First party prediction. We see something from the Helldivers team. Big DLC, some collaboration they're planning, or just the next war bond.
Okay. All right. I'll accept it.
Approved. All right. Third party prediction from me. Here we go. It's almost time, y'all. It is almost spooky season. February 27th, I believe, is spooky season. That's when Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil Renainquiem releases. They are on a little bit of a PR tour. Well, they really have been. They just show up everywhere and they just like show the same trailers a little bit differently. And anyway, I think Capcom they have had in the past special relationships with PlayStation, specifically around Resident Evil. I think we're going to see some kind of PlayStation exclusive, timed exclusive content for Resident Evil Renainquiem tomorrow or on Thursday. And that could be PlayStation VR 2 support. They are not. I know that PlayStation VR 2 is beyond dead, but specifically with Resident Evil, Capcom, like you can play that on your phone. They're one of the only developers who are like putting these full third-party games on your iPhone. You can play this. They've Resident Evil 7, 8, and now 4 you can play in VR. So they're willing to devote this development cost to these weird niche things just as experimental and supportive things. So I think we're going to see PlayStation timed exclusive content likely to include a VR version of PlayStation Renainquiem. Not necessarily at launch. Like Resident Evil Village was, I think it was like delayed 6 months or something like that. But they're announcing that they will have support for it after launch.
Sounds good. Adam, what about you?
There's 2 games I was looking at to get like official release dates or windows or a trailer like, hey, here's a thing coming up. And I think I'm going to settle on the one I think it's a little more exciting. Phantom Blade Zero. We'll get a trailer. Just new stuff, new combat, whatever shown off. That game apparently does have a release date. Apparently that's September of this year. You know, that game was shown off, feels like 3 years ago. So I think that they're going to show it again to remind everybody that like, oh, hey, here's this PlayStation console exclusive at launch at least coming this year. I feel like this is a time to show it early in the year. I'm sure we'll see it again, obviously, in the summertime before it comes out, but I think they'll, re-up and like, hey, here's an exclusive for the year. Pay attention to Phantom Blade Zero. So I think that's the one. The other one I was thinking of, and Joel, you can take this one if you want, is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, which has been at like the last 3 state of plays. So maybe that actually gets a release date now. But if he's already got one, then it's not. I'm just saying that he doesn't get that one.
I always forget that game is PlayStation exclusive.
Which
console exclusive?
Phantom Blade Zero?
No, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls.
Marvel Tokon, yeah, that is. You think you'd want your fighting games to be on and everything, but I guess they don't care.
Also, remember, Joel's prediction is to October for the third-party stuff. We went over this.
Right. He has a backup one, though. His backup third-party prediction says, we see a game from Xbox. Whether it's Forza, Halo, or Fable, we see a game, and the internet gets mad.
Yeah, 100%. You'll absolutely get something that's not there yet. That's going to get a trailer saying that's getting announced. 100, yeah.
And moving on from there, our final non-game prediction. I'll admit this prediction is perhaps a little outlandish than some of my other predictions. Emphasis on the little. I think that we will get Returnal faceplates for the PlayStation 5. And I will specify that one half of the faceplates will be either a monster or a collection of monsters from the game looking all mean and menacing at you. The other half will just be Rahul Kohli's face, just prominently displayed, just like staring straight ahead, dead-eyed, piercing into your soul.
Just
Are you locking
best gamer
Are you locking that
purposes.
one in? Are you locking that one in, Cozy?
I'm locking it in.
Oh, get his ass, Chad.
I was gonna try to like have you go back and refine it, but Adam's looking to trap you. You did say returnal faceplates instead of
You
Soros
did say
plate
returnal
faceplates.
faceplates. Check the tape.
Yeah,
You locked
Here's
it
the
in,
thing,
buddy.
though.
The chat says returnal.
Here's the
Weird
thing, though.
prediction.
I bet you that they're going to pull a Thunderbolts and we're going to get Saros. You see, the problem is that it's just a really bad name. Returnal,
Keep
you
digging
hear
that
it,
hole,
it's
buddy.
like
Get that shovel. Keep going deeper.
Return and something all, and it's like it's a much better game. You're going to get to the end of Saros, you're going to beat the game, and it's going to be like Saros asterisk Returnal, kind of like the Thunderbolts was actually the new Avengers. That's how they're going to. We talked about how it's going to connect into the story
Returnal
of
faceplates,
Returnal. And
everybody.
Celine.
You heard him here first.
Returnal faceplates with
It's
Rahul
gonna
Kohli
be-
on them.
It's going to be really weird because in the showcase we're going to talk about how it's Returnal faceplates, and we're all going to be like, "What? But hold on, isn't the game called Saros?" But it's actually they're going to be teasing the
Did you
grand
know
reveal
Soros
all along.
backwards is Returnal? Did you know that?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
All right, my hardware or non-game thing will be some kind of, I mean, it's not literally going to be an ad, but some kind of promotion for the Sony Affable car that is releasing this year that has, PlayStation Remote Play built into it. You can have the LED display on the front of the car be like Astrobot or Ghost of Tsushima and all sorts of things. This is the year they're releasing that car. They want to get people to put down their like refundable $200 deposits. So they want to drive promotion for this thing. So I think we'll see some kind of Sony Affable car announcement, mention, advertisement, drive you to go pre-order, whatever it might be.
Cool.
Very cool. So when you say non-game, what do you mean?
I mean,
that's not a game?
We talked about faceplates. We talked about cars in the chat. Joel posted his prediction. He says, "I predict we finally get a release date for the Sony PlayStation Pulse speakers." So something in this realm.
Yeah, I was going to go speakers or something as well. I'll just throw it out here because this is going to be a tough one to nail down anyways. We get a glimpse, maybe it's coming along, maybe a release date. We're going to get something about that Gravity Rush movie.
Oh, yeah.
That they've been working on for 3 years, or I don't know how many years it's been, but maybe we'll finally see that here. I don't know if that's a real thing, but if it is, we'll see it here.
Okay. Sounds good. And with that, we can move on to the More versus More mini segment to close this out. More versus More question number 1. Will there be more time in the showcase devoted to Insomniac's Wolverine or to Housemarque's Saros asterisk Returnal?
No, don't say that. No, Saros, 100%.
Saros. Yeah, that's coming next month. And Wolverine, they've got their summer thing to devote to it.
I think that makes perfect logical sense. But just to be a contrarian, just to fill out the board, I will say Wolverine.
Joel says Saros.
More versus More, Saros as well. Question number 2. Will we see more first-party live service games or more first-party VR games?
Ooh, live service. Yeah. Because 1 is more than 0, so you know what I'm saying?
You said first-party VR games versus first-party live service?
Can I, if we don't want to do this, we don't have to do this. But could we maybe perhaps exclude Marathon from this particular ranking? Because I think, Marathon is like a guaranteed. If we exclude Marathon, will we see more first-party live service games or more first-party VR games?
Live service. I don't think there's literally a single soul at PlayStation working on VR right now.
Damn. You know what? I will go with the crowd with this one, and I will see more first-party live service games as
So does Joel.
well.
And then Joel says, no! In all
No,
caps.
no, 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 no. Question number 3. Will there be more 2D fighting games shown or more 3D Souls-like games shown? And now I do want to specify, when I say 2D fighting games, it can refer to both 2D games in the vein of something like Marvel Togon Fighting Souls, but I will also accept games that are 2D games that are fighting games that are played on a 2D plane like Tekken as well.
Cool.
Yes. So 2D fighting games or 3D Souls-like games?
3D Souls-like.
3D Souls-like.
I'm going to go 2D fighting games. And we will move on to number 4 while we let Joel answer. Will we see more remakes of old games be announced or more ports of games formerly exclusive to Xbox consoles be announced for PlayStation?
More ports.
More ports of old games or more formerly Xbox games?
No, more remakes or more ports is what he's saying.
We can broaden it and say remakes or remasters. It doesn't have to be like full blown, we're making this from the ground up. It can also be, we're giving this old game a nice shiny coat of paint.
I lost track of it. Can you repeat the question?
Will we see more remakes or remasters of old games be announced or more ports of games that were formerly exclusive to Xbox consoles be announced?
Ports.
Joel
also says ports and Souls-likes.
I'm going to be contrarian once again. I'm going to go with remakes / remasters.
Is anyone writing these down?
Well, one of us will go through the podcast at some point.
You can listen to it. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
I was going to say, Joel should be doing it. He's not here. He's just hanging out in the hotel room eating a Philly cheesesteak. He should be taking care of this. All right. And finally, number 5, last one. Will we see more developers speaking on screen from video game studios based in North America, Europe, or Japan? And now I do want to specify, they specifically have to be speaking on screen. Oftentimes with these showcases, there will be video packages where they show, random developers, moseying around their development studios, working on computers. Those don't count. The developer specifically has to be speaking into the camera to count.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 0 overall.
Yeah, me too.
But just in case, I guess I'll say...
Because if Herman Hulst is speaking into the camera, it's like, well, that's 1 point automatically for Europe.
Yeah. He's not a developer.
No, that's right. He's not a developer anymore.
Well, let's just say developers or personnel that work for PlayStation.
I'll also say North America, because that would cover Bungie, that would cover Insomniac, that would cover... Yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to go for.
That's smart, but I'm going to go Europe.
You know what? I'm going to go Europe as well, because if Saros... Returnal gets shown off a lot at this, we might see like a fair few talking heads from that studio. So I'm going to go Europe.
Joel says North America, in case somebody's listening back to this and writing it down later.
Perfect. And that is that for More versus More.
More versus more. Dope. We've got one more thing here that we want to kind of just go back and recap a little bit and maybe out a couple of things.
I do want to just say real quick, I put this section in the show notes document first before I came up with predicting stuff for the State of Play broadcast. So if we don't want to do this section, we don't need to do it, or we can go over it quickly, whatever you want to do. I would like
to just briefly go through and if you all had any reactions to the Nintendo Direct partner showcase that happened just a few days ago now. I can't remember when, but while that happened last week, there were a bunch of games that were announced coming to Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. And rather than recapping all of that shit, I would love to hear from you all. Is there anything on there that kind of was interesting or exciting or that whatever that made you feel emotions one way or another?
The more and more that we've seen of it, the more and more intrigued I am by, what's the Capcom game? Pragmata. Of course, that game is not coming exclusively to Nintendo Switch 2, but that game looks like it's going to be a good, fun time. I'm definitely probably going to... Actually, I completely forgot. I'm looking over the Nintendo Life article about this particular Direct. There's a demo for Pragmata in the eShop right now. I genuinely might actually go and download it after we're done with today's episode.
I know previously the demo was like Steam exclusive. Is that now Steam and Switch exclusive, or can I get it in the PS app right now?
That's a good question. We should probably look into that.
Let me find out.
That was kind of the only major announcement that really spoke to me. Obviously, things like Oblivion remastered, Indiana Jones, Fallout 4 coming to Switch is really good. Good to see the library be, further rounded out with quality games. But that was the only game that really was like, I really should be paying a little closer attention to that.
The demo is on PlayStation and is downloading right now to my PlayStation.
It's less likely that I will play it, but Orbitals, which was the game that kicked off the showcase, was also very good as well.
I would like to call out something like this is nothing new for Nintendo and their consoles. Like they get old games. Like, congratulations, you can now play this old game that you probably forgot existed on your Nintendo console. Like when the Wii U launched with the Batman game that Rocksteady didn't make that nobody wanted to play, but now you had electrical gauntlets. And when the Switch finally got Skyrim and things like that. But Bethesda announced 3 games coming to it: Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Oblivion Remastered. And I think what is promising to me, although I'm not going to give them too much credit because who knows where it might go over the years. What's promising to me is that all of these are the same versions that released on current gen consoles. Like, remember when Skyrim came out, it was like Skyrim Remastered came out on the other consoles, and then Skyrim Anniversary Edition came out on Switch, which was not the remastered version, that couldn't run as well, that didn't have all the bells and whistles, it just had Link armor. But this is Oblivion Remastered. This is Fallout 4. Like, this isn't like a Switch 2 edition, or Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is not a Nintendo Switch version. Like, it's just probably that version scaled down a little bit. So I'm hopeful that Nintendo Switch 2 might be. I know developers are getting their dev kits late and they're still figuring out how to optimize for it and things like that. But I'm hopeful that it's not going to be a garbage trash machine where if you play a third-party game, it's the worst version that has ever existed on. And in that same vein, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming to Nintendo Switch 2 as well, which was announced there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Adam, anything from you?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy...
I was going to say, we all know that you're a huge Nintendo Switch 2 fan, and obviously you were very heavily anticipating this showcase, so...
What's that really shitty fucking Tokyo whatever game?
Oh, yeah, Tokyo Scramble.
Scramble?
Tokyo Scramble. I thought you were talking about, what's the... Like, it was like PS3 era game. It was on the Vita, where you were playing in like this... like post-apocalyptic Tokyo as animals.
Tokyo Jungle.
Tokyo Jungle,
yeah. But no, for me, getting the actual... I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but all the Final Fantasy VII games coming everywhere, we knew that, but getting actual confirmation was cool. And Orbitals looks really cool because that looked neat at Game Awards, so that was also cool to see there. But that's it.
Tokyo Jungle, by the way, that was one of those annoying games. I played it back in the day. I downloaded it off the PSN. Good game. Like, it looked like complete dog shit, and it actually featured a lot of dog shit because we were playing as dogs in it. But it didn't have a platinum trophy. It was one of those annoying games where, like, you got your 13 trophies and you didn't get anything of value for the time and effort you put into it. Still good, though.
All right. Well, that's everything that we cared about talking about from the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase last week. Let's now move on to time-wise. Yeah, let's make this the last segment of this week is Playtime. We're talking about what we played last week. Playtime. Adam, yours is so mysterious. This enigma.
It's
Tell me
blank.
about it.
That's what happens when you work 80 hours in a week. You don't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
Maybe
you
not
get
80,
overtime,
maybe
though?
70. It's just so much. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that I did was I downloaded and played The Sims 4 for like an hour because I own a bunch of content packs on the console, and I was like, I want to play this on the PC, but I have to rebuy all that stuff. But like, maybe I'll be a Sims guy. I don't know. Maybe I'll be a little freak.
What was the catalyst that said, I think it's a Sims 4 kind of day?
So there's this, I'm sure other consoles have it, but on Xbox, you can like go to your collection of games that you own, and there's like a surprise me button, and it'll just pull up a random thing that's in your library.
Okay.
And I hit it like 3 times, and the third one was Sims 4. I'm like, you know what? And I did that.
Did you play it on PC or Xbox?
No, I have it on Xbox. Well, the thing is, The Sims 4 is now free to play.
Okay.
So I could play it on PC, but I own expansion packs on console. So I played it on there, and then I was like, no, this is fun. This still works. But I'm like, oof, I could be an insane person and spend $250 on expansion packs on PC and just play it on PC instead. Because it clearly is made for PC, like with the mouse and shit and everything.
Yeah.
So, but I played that for about an hour, a good time. I was doing the Get Famous expansion, where you can just like be an influencer or an actor and get famous, and people randomly show up. You know, you have fans in the street. I'm like, this game is some people's only game. And I can understand why, because I played it for an hour and I was just like, I could play this for like 18 more hours, no problem. I didn't even buy anything good in my house. I had a shitty bed, but I was trying to be famous, you know? That's all that mattered.
Love it.
That's it.
Cozy, tell me about what you played.
It's a lot of been, continuing my time playing games that I've been playing a lot of recently. Logged some more hours into Legend ZA's DLC. Played a bit more of Returnal Ascension. I meant to say Saros asterisk Returnal asterisk the prequel to Saros asterisk Returnal, as it is going to be known in the future when they reveal that Saros is actually Saros asterisk Returnal. I actually rolled credits in the Ascension mode of Returnal, but I actually did not yet get to experience all the content that it has to offer. I still have a few trophies that I need to check off the list. So I'm hoping that I'll get those taken care of. Will say I've been pretty surprised by how tough the Ascension content has been, which makes sense because it originally came out quite a few months after the original game's release. And so I understand that they wanted to make it a little bit tough for those people that had already experienced everything that the story has to offer. But it really is kicking my ass quite a bit. And I'll have plenty to say about it when we finally do our review of it. Only other major game of note that I played was High Guard. This past weekend, I finally got around to, yes, Joel's absolutely favorite game. We were in a call with Joel just before we did this podcast. Sorry to, break the fourth wall and reveal that we are still in communications with him. And we asked him, High Guard, it's your favorite game, right, Joel? And he was pretty much like, yeah, it's my favorite game. He said, give any sort of yes.
He said, and I quote, ish, I texted Adam after the podcast and said, High Guard 2 is his favorite game of all time. And he said High Guard 1 was so good that I'm hyped to play High Guard 2. That's how good it is.
Well, we can exclusively announce on this podcast that High Guard 2 coming soon. Played a couple of hours of it with a friend on the weekend. Kind of have mixed thoughts on it, to be totally honest. I think it is a very slickly polished shooter. It has a lot of great things going for it. Its movement mechanics, as you would expect, coming from the people behind Apex Legends, feel great. I love that I can just cruise through the battlefield at high speeds on a super fast bear mount. It's not nearly as bad as the internet would make you think, which I feel pretty much was your impression of the game when you talked about it last week, Chad. But it's also not really perfect. I will say I've not actually listened to, read, or watched a whole lot of media that delves into, the critiques that people have with this game. So if the critiques I'm about to read are really off base from, how it is that people feel about it right now, or if it's actually dead on and I'm just beating over a dead course here, I apologize in advance. I will say, I really feel like this game is not suited well for 3v3, and even 5v5 feels like it's a little bit on the small side. I feel like
Did you get to play 5v5 on your...
I did.
In your experience? Cool.
I did. And my kind of impression walking away from it is I feel like the nature of what this game is, I feel is really much more suited for just much more grandiose sieges. When you're assaulting, the opposing team's camp, I feel like the scope of what this game is going for really just makes much more sense if you are taking on their base with just a giant party of people, and you really have to kind of coordinate with your allies to try and repel their attacks. And when you're playing with just a small party of 3 other people, or rather yourself and 2 other people, the scope of the game just feels especially out of whack. It's a really weird situation that the game finds itself in, because this game's maps are obviously way smaller than something like an Apex Legends, which is this, giant first person, battle royale game. But like, even though they are much more scaled down than the likes of Apex Legends, they still feel like they're a little bit too big for the amount of players that are on the map at any point in time. I do think that 5v5 is an improvement over 3v3, but I still feel like we could go bigger in that regard. Other main complaint, I feel like matches honestly take a little bit too long. Again, I feel bad that I'm constantly comparing it to Apex Legends because this game is not a battle royale, but it was impossible not to think of battle royales, again, because of the Apex Legends comparison. In any other battle royale, the longer things go on, the more tense and dynamic things become. The higher the possibility becomes that you might eventually get picked off and sent to an early grave. In this game, a long and overly drawn out match, in my opinion, only becomes more boring and frustrating over time. The game wanted me to, after every unsuccessful attempt to siege our home base, make me appreciate that I had yet another chance to win and take the enemy team on once more. But instead, I just found myself wishing the longer things went on that we could just end matches, further and faster. It reminded me a lot of, do you guys remember that one night that we all played Star Wars Battlefront 2 together many years ago?
Ooh. Yeah, we had a game night a long time ago
where we played Star Wars Battlefront 2. It was a long time ago, and like we all kind of came out of that experience being like, man, these matches go on for so long because you invade an opposing team's base, you get very, very far, eventually get pushed back, end up back in the main staging area. Eventually, the other team pushes you back to your base, and then inevitably you manage to push them back, and you both end up in the main central staging area. And this relationship just keeps happening back and forth, and we all just walked out of it being like, oh man, I wish that matches were just over in much more of a flash than this arduous process that gets dragged out ad infinitum. And I feel very much the same way about High Guard.
Especially when you go up against a set of three that are just like clearly better than you are, and you're just like, God, I just can't wait to not be fighting against these people.
Exactly. I think that the team can genuinely turn the ship around with enough TLC, but honestly, at least right now, ultimately my time with High Guard just made me want to go back and play more Apex Legends. I eventually put the controller down because that game just got too addictive for me, but like I'd totally be down to go back at this point after being reminded of that, this game gave me like the hint, the width of the cocaine hit that Apex Legends provided me with back in the day, and I feel like I'm almost rearing up for more now. And so, that's it.
Another middling review from Respawn Fire for High Guard. It's not that bad, but it's also not great.
It's like, if I had to rate it out of 10, it's like a 6 or like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's not all bad.
Yeah. I have two games here. Can't remember what the fuck the first one here is in reference to, but the second one is more of Escort Mission the Game, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake in VR. I think last time we podcasted a few days ago, I was on chapter 7. Now I'm in the middle of chapter 12. And Adam, I have a question for you, because one of the things I was really impressed by the way this handled it, but also I was looking forward to figuring out, I was like, in VR specifically, how do they handle this thing? When you played the game, did you play the like remaster port, or did you play the remake of it?
I played the remaster port. I had to play the 2005 version. So
so that version was still filled with QTEs, right? QuickTime events for like pushing buttons, especially like during the knife fight with Krauser and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, so one of the things that I don't know if that's been changed in remake, like I don't know if they've reduced the QTEs or taken them out entirely, because I'm only playing the VR version, which obviously is very different in the way that it controls and the way that you're interacting. But I was looking forward to this whole game so far of like, how are they going to handle this Krauser knife fight? Because in the game, it's just a series of QuickTime events. You're watching a cutscene basically, and it's just QuickTime event after QuickTime event, mashing buttons at the right time in order to defeat him. And in VR, they handled it really well. There was actually like when he first shows up and you start fighting each other, doing your little knife fight, it's just a cutscene. They took all QTEs out of it. It's just a cutscene. You watch yourself do some fun, cool knife things. But then you get to the actual fight with him, and you're walking around this little like platform with crates and things like that on it. And they introduced in the VR version this concept of like parrying an attack from somebody, which leaves them open to a melee. And so it was this, you have your knife out obviously, and anytime he goes to attack you, if you time it right and you're just like boom, you parry him by swiping your arm across, and then boom, you get the opportunity to melee him or stab him, which was like, oh, that was a really like cool and novel way to handle that fight that I wouldn't have thought to do. So yeah, I'm just like, I am continually impressed by how much they actually rethought this game from the ground up for VR. Because there were actually two versions of Resident Evil 4 VR. One of them was before Remake, and it was like a meta exclusive version, and it was the remastered version, but it was basically just you are playing Resident Evil 4 Remastered, and the camera is Leon's eyes, and that was basically it. And they did a couple of other, like you could dual wield guns in it, but it was still very much just like point and shoot. Like you didn't have the reload mechanics and all that kind of stuff. But this one was actually reworked from the ground up for VR, and I'm just really impressed with how they're handling it. CGTOD, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure it out. I'm like, well, he didn't just. That's not Joel backwards.
No,
like can't.
I mean, Joel and I did get demoted. I'm trying to figure out how this is Arc Raiders, but I can't.
But it has to be Arc Raiders, though, right? Isn't that the point?
I guess so. In Arc Raiders, on Friday, Joel and I are so good that this season we are right now. Well, on Friday we were in Hot Shots, which is the tier right below Cantina Legend. And Cantina Legend is the top 1,000 players in the game. Joel and I got to the level right below that, and then every week the top 1,000 people from Cantina Legend and Hot Shot get put into one giant pool, and then they redraw whoever the top 1,000 people are to be Cantina Legend that next week. And the goal is by the end of the season, which is in 2 weeks, if you're Cantina Legend, then you get like the exclusive color on whatever outfit that you get as part of the season pass, not season pass, but as part of the trials. Friday, we got up to like 17th, I think. We were in the teens for amount of points, and you had to get down like everyone in level 60, rank 60 or higher in Hot Shots would stay at your rank and be part of that pool for top 1,000. And then everyone below that would get demoted 1 to Daredevil 3. We were so good. Fucking logged in today right before this podcast and saw we got demoted to Daredevil 3. Something happened in 48 hours where at least 43 other people got horny and went and farmed a bunch of points. And I mean, we got so high on so many freaking challenges last week. I don't see how that many people beat us, but apparently they did. So
got caught slacking.
Daredevil 3s.
If it's not your whole life, then why are you even playing the game?
I know. Which means this week we gotta bust our asses to get to be Hot Shot again, so that in the final week we can be potentially Cantina Legends. I remember what this is now.
No more trips. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Card game. I don't remember what the letters stand for. Card game trading on Discord. That's what it is. Yeah. There's a website like there's the Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, TCGP, on phones. There's a website called Pokemon TCGP-tracker.com that I've been using since Joel introduced it to me when the game launched, that just to keep track of my collection, and it tells you like you have this many from each of these packs, and if you have the highest chance to pull a new card from this pack. Like I've been using it that way, but I've gotten to the point now where I am just like the original packs all the way back, like Genetic Apex or Pikachu, Mewtwo, and Charizard packs that I will never be able to convince myself to keep drawing from, but I just like I'm this close to finishing those collections. I was like, fine, let me look into ways that I can just like trade with strangers online. That website, Pokemon TCG-tracker or PTCGP-tracker.com, has a new trading system that they've developed where you go through your cards, and if you have duplicates of ones that you're willing to trade, you mark them as tradable. And if you don't have some, you mark them as like wanted cards. And then there's a Discord, and you go to this Discord and you can be like, hey, I'm looking for the Rainbow Articuno from Genetic Apex, or I'm willing to trade anything. And you just share your profile link and you click the link and it automatically says, all right, here are the cards they have that you want. And here are the cards you have that they want. Suggest a trade. It's like, whoa, that's freaking great. So it took a little bit, like I think I watched like 3 episodes of Twisted Metal Season 2 while I just sat on the couch and went and cataloged all the cards that I want and all the cards that I want to trade. So like it took a little bit of time investment, but yeah, I've been slowly now making trades with strangers. Gonna start closing
Chad?
The gaps. Yeah.
I'm looking at this website. Is there any, knowing you and Joel, is there any chance you guys are paying for a membership or supporting these people on Patreon?
I am not. I am paying money to Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, though, every month for sure.
There you go. That's fine.
Buying them coins.
Question for Adam. Earlier, Chad referenced a Rainbow Articuno. Can you tell us what kind of Pokemon Articuno is?
Ice flying?
Okay, there we go. Just making sure you're paying attention.
Adam, he played the original Pokemon games.
Yeah, I played Yellow and then Gold and Silver.
I just wanted to make sure you're paying attention. That's all.
It's fucking magma and fucking iron. Like, what did you expect? Like, what are you talking about?
All right, folks. That's it for playtime. And that's going to be it. We started late. Adam's worked 800 hours. I got to take a pee. So we're going to call that for episode 422 of Respawning Fire. Thank you so much for listening.
No cozy questions of the week?
No.
Questions?
We've already been going an hour.
Right.
And yeah, let's wrap up.
Alrighty.
So
next
we're
time,
going to wrap up
one day, Cozy's question of the week will come back.
Of course. There's always space for the not KKK. Except for today.
Yeah.
Today, there's no space for it. Because this is the end of episode 422 of Respawning Fire. Remember, you have homework as a patron. Your homework is that you get to play games, vote for games, go listen to things before the regular stupid public gets to. So go do all those things. Play Returnal. Actually, everyone gets to play Returnal. You get to vote as a patron. So everyone go play Returnal and talk to us about it. And by play Returnal, we mean Returnal. Not Saurus Returnal.
Returnal.
If you have Saurus Returnal right now, go play that. That's cool.
Asterisk Returnal.
Come on the show and talk about that. That's cool. Review that for us.
Returnal, asterisk, the New Avengers, asterisk, the Thunderbolts, asterisk, Celine will return.
Celine Dion will return. That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Wait. Adam, you have a new podcast that you want people to go listen to. Tell us about your new podcast you want people to go listen to.
Oh, yeah. Just look for the tier list of video game podcasts, or just go to Adam Gumby on YouTube or on social media for links to that. The latest episode was Metroid Fusion featuring Matt Storm. So that was fun. And then the next episode, I'm not going to give away the game yet, but I think that's a Jacob McCourt episode. So look forward to that. That is next Monday.
I've only consumed Jerica's episode, and I've already forgotten the game that you played. What was the game that you played?
Inscription.
Inscription, that's right. I've only consumed Inscription and a little piece of now your Resident Evil 4 one. Are you playing all of these games? Like, are you playing Metroid Fusion now? Are you playing, like...
Yeah, that's my first time playing Metroid Fusion was because of that podcast, yeah.
Did you beat it out of the podcast, or did you...
I guess Metroid Fusion is fast.
I was going to say, did you play it because of the pod? Like,
did
you beat it in time
I never would
for
have
the
touched that game.
podcast?
Yeah, I never would have touched that game otherwise.
What did you think of it?
Well, listen to the episode.
Go listen to the episode.
That's how we got him.
Got his ass.
That's how they got us.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Joel took a poop right when this thing started.